We're kicking off today with Bray Wyatt, as the former Universal Champion hasn't been seen on WWE programming in months. Before his mysterious illness, Wyatt had been penciled in to face Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, but that didn't happen, and now there's been some good news about Wyatt's condition. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reports that Wyatt is yet to be medically cleared, but he is getting closer to being cleared after 6 months of not being allowed to compete. WWE and Wyatt have been taking extra precautions to ensure his long-term health, and one source told Fightful that creative ideas have been presented for his return. That same source indicated that some ideas would see Wyatt return as soon as next month, but that won't mean anything if he doesn't get clearance first. Fightful's report also confirmed previous reports that there were ideas for Wyatt to have a group that would include Alexa Bliss, Eric Young, and Uncle Howdy, but that seems unlikely to be the case now. With Bliss on maternity leave and Young gone from WWE would have to think of new people to fill their spots, and it's believed that WWE won't go in this direction. Nevertheless, this is the best news reported about Wyatt in months, and what creative idea would you like to see facilitate his return? Let us know down in the comments. Later this year, WWE will finalize its agreement to be acquired by Endeavor, and the promotion will be merged with the UFC to form TKO Group Holdings. The new company will have its own board of directors, made up of executives from both WWE and Endeavor, and some interesting names have now made the cut from the wrestling side of things. We know that the board will consist of 11 members, with 5 coming from WWE, and this week, 4 of those 5 were named. Vince McMahon, Nick Khan, Steve Koonin, and Nancy Tellem will all represent WWE on the board, with all except Tellem having been part of WWE's board of directors. Interestingly, Triple H, who has long been a board member, has not been selected, but with one spot left on WWE's side, it'll be very interesting to see if the game is selected. Other WWE members that have yet to make the cut include Michelle R. McKenna, Steve Pammon, and ex-WWE presidents George Barrios and Michelle Wilson, and we'll have to see who takes the final spot in this new era of WWE. Over to AEW now, as Rob Van Dam made his in-ring debut on this week's Dynamite and was able to give FTW champion Jack Perry an epic challenge. Unfortunately, the WWE Hall of Famer was unable to dethrone Perry, but this may not be the last we see of RVD in an AEW ring. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful reports that people backstage at AEW were very happy with RVD's performance at Dynamite and believe he carried himself well both in ring and backstage. While RVD's deal with AEW called for just one match, the bout with Perry, it has been reported that AEW is eager to have Van Dam on the card for All In, which would be a huge deal for the company. At this time, no match has been announced for either Van Dam or Perry at All In, but judging by the response to RVD this week, don't be surprised to see a 5-star frog splash or two later this month in London. When Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville captured the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships, WWE were optimistic that their reign would be injury and scandal-free and help stabilize the tag division. Unfortunately for WWE, that hasn't been the case at all, as Deville's ACL tear has disrupted plans for their reign. So what's next for the Women's Tag Team Championships? BWE, the proven WWE insider, reports that WWE is considering all options at the moment and noted that there has been talks of NXT talent getting shots at the gold. While Deville's injury is well known at this point, WWE has yet to officially make a decision regarding the titles, and at this time, Deville and Green remain the champions. It's been over 3 years since WWE introduced these tag titles, and since then we've seen fans criticize the booking, reigns ended due to injury, and last year, the champions be suspended from TV. But what do you think WWE should do with the Women's Tag Team Championships, and do you think an influx of challengers from NXT will help? Let us know down in the comments. We don't know yet what WWE has planned for their seemingly cursed championships, but Chelsea Green has an idea as to what should be next in her future. During an episode of After the Bell, Green discussed her future as a champion, saying she may rechristen herself the Undisputed Unified World Heavyweight Women's Tag Team Champion. That's quite a mouthful, and Green added that she'd love the chance to host Chelsea's Got Talent to help her decide her next tag team partner, who according to her, must be great at everything. As to whether Green will get her buzzer and comfy spinning chair, time will tell, but the Canadian won't let her time as Women's Tag Team Champion be ended without a fight. More injury news now, as it was earlier this year that Braun Strowman suffered an injury that would result in the Monster Among Men undergoing neck fusion surgery. Recovering from this surgery will keep Strowman out for close to a year, but there has been some good news regarding his condition. Speaking with Steve Fall of 10 Count Media, Ricochet was asked about Strowman and said that his tag team partner has been doing great in recovery. After this injury, it was said by PW Insider that Strowman had been removed from all creative ideas, and it has been a while since his name came up during creative meetings. With his injury, Strowman will miss a lot of key events, and possibly will miss WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, and we're wishing the Monster Among Men a full and healthy recovery. On tonight's SmackDown, Santos Escobar will challenge US champion Austin Theory after Escobar won the US title invitational, but his win in the tournament was far from pleasing. The finals between Escobar and Rey Mysterio had to be stopped due to the Hall of Famer suffering an injury, giving Escobar the win, and now Austin Theory has taken notice. Speaking on the Babyfaces podcast, Theory spoke about tonight's opponent and even went as far as to say that Escobar can be dangerous in the ring. He said, "Did you see what he did to his own family, Rey Mysterio? I mean, that just blows my mind. You know, he injures his own role model. That says he cares about it so much. It's a dangerous man." At the time of the injury, it was said that there was no heat on Escobar for what had happened, but that everybody backstage was understandably frustrated that the match didn't go as planned. Escobar was also set to win the match, but the manner of this win should have been much different, and do you think there's some truth to what Theory said? Let us know in the comments. At SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes ended his feud with Brock Lesnar, and the two made it clear that this storyline was over with a post-match show of respect. On this week's Raw, Rhodes teased challenging Seth Rollins, who by the end of the show would be laid out by Shinsuke Nakamura. So what's next for the American Nightmare? Well, it looks like the answer may be coming from NXT, as on Instagram, Carmelo Hayes shared a post hyping up the new American Nightmare documentary from Peacock and WWE. This post caught the attention of Rhodes himself, who asked when he and Hayes will dance, and the NXT champion pointed out that he's always free on Mondays. Rhodes and Hayes do have something of a history, as it was Carmelo, alongside Joe Gacy, who Cody handpicked to help train him ahead of his successful return during this year's Men's Royal Rumble match. There's often been talk of Hayes' call-up, and he has appeared on WWE's main roster a handful of times. And would this be a feud you'd like to see? Share your thoughts down below. No matter who Cody wrestles next, fans will be seeing plenty of him on WWE TV, as well as his infamous American Nightmare logo neck tattoo. This piece of ink has spawned countless memes and comments by fans, and it turns out that a major person behind the tattoo didn't know how it would end up. Speaking with Fightful's In the Weeds, Teal Rhodes, Cody's sister, was tasked with finding the tattoo artist, but she was under the impression that she was helping Cody get a chest tattoo, not something on his neck. Perhaps if Teal had known where the ink would end up, she would have been less insisting on helping her brother out, but at this point, it appears that Cody has no intention to have the tattoo removed. Cody himself has admitted the tattoo is far bigger than what he had planned, but the American Nightmare, just like the rest of us, has had to get used to the tattoo Teal thought would be on a much different part of his body. And we're ending with Brock Lesnar, and on WWE TV, he is as serious a competitor as they come, and it was only after his return to the company last year that Lesnar showed a more fun-loving side. Even now, this fun-loving side is still a rarity on WWE TV, but the former Universal Champion was recently able to cut loose during a Zach Bryan concert. Bryan played the Target Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota on August 9th, and few people could have expected that during the show, Bryan would invite Lesnar onto the stage to sing part of the chorus to Bryan's hit song Revival. Lesnar isn't expected to compete on WWE TV for the rest of the year, according to recent reports, but it's clear that Brock's showmanship isn't just reserved to Raw or premium live events.